It's not people's fault. They say, oh, they're drug addicts, they love their drugs. Yeah, they love their drugs. What are they supposed to love?
That's Arlene Rosenthal, president of Well in the Desert. As you could probably tell, Arlene doesn't mince words. She says what she means. Did you see the video?
No.
You didn't see the video?
Listen, I don't even have time to scratch my feet.
She's dedicated most of her life to helping those in need, the working poor, the homeless. For the last almost 19 years, she's done that as president of Well in the Desert. I feel very fortunate to have met her and got to spend some quality time with her and record some of her thoughts regarding homelessness and how I can help, how we can help. And I have some specific action steps that I'm taking based on the time I've spent with her. But we cover a lot of ground in this video. For starters, first, here's her comments regarding my video, which she, after watching originally, to my disappointment, told me she thought was too negative.
It wasn't that I thought the whole thing was too negative. You started out with the group of drug addicts, mostly men, and they looked like they were the whole story. So you started it on a negative, rather than start with the positive aspects and then add them. Because I'm not saying sugarcoat it, and don't talk about the fact that we have 20-25% of our people are really badass drug addicts, but make that another part of the video, not the opening one. And talk to people. Talk to the people that are here. Ask them, hey, what are you here for? Why are you here? Tell me your life. Tell me your story. Why are you homeless? Why are you homeless? Can you speak? Because I'm presenting these things to other people, and I want them to know so they can help. That's all I was saying.
Fair enough. I certainly understand where she's coming from. At the same time, I can only present the information as I experience it. And the people who I ran into and the images that I recorded were what I experienced. And I will always present whatever I have because it's been my experience. And I'm not going to try to change it or sugarcoat it. Just as this interview with Arlene, I'm not going to edit her dialogue either. I'm going to give it to you straight as it comes from her. But I will take, and I got some very good advice there on some specific actions. I am going to sponsor, mentor, work with a few individuals at the well and share their stories. You can look forward to that in some future videos.
I love good messages. I love what you're doing. And there'll be people that watch it, that get it. Will the people that don't get it get anything? Will they have a different opinion once they've explored? And I wonder.
But you're optimistic enough. You still have hope. That's how we started this whole conversation.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes. Because I've seen people in my life, unbelievable stories. I mean, just unbelievable stories. I've been here so many years and I have seen so many success stories of people getting off drugs, people getting off alcohol, people marrying, people getting good jobs, going back to a good life. We have 3 houses that our staff live in communally. It's like the 60s. And they have to get along as family. But they're not on the streets and they're able to work. They're not homeless. Maybe they don't have a home of their own. So what? Is that what's normal? If they're living in a place, they're eating, they're living happily, that's success. for them, for you. But I mean, I see these people on council and I've been friends with them for years. I know them personally, but I've lost my hope with the people in those positions.
So I got the name of those people in those positions from Arlene. I've reached out to them via email. It'll be interesting to see when or if I hear back from them. But I asked them specifically what policies they are proposing, what action steps they are taking to help with homelessness, and how the community can help achieve those goals. It'll be interesting to see when or if I hear back from them.
What are the arguments against? Why?
There's no arguments against. They're just not doing anything. They got $10 million. They're sitting on it. We don't even hear what it's going for. It was supposed to be spent. I don't know. It's almost like it got pushed under the rug again. I'm hoping that the new administration, who's promised a lot, will put programs in place that will help deal with homelessness and follow through on it.
Arlene gave some examples of what she deals with on a daily basis.
Today at lunch, I heard that. We heard screaming from the women's bathroom, and Kristen ran in. She came and she said, "It's Diana." Diana's about a 24-year-old young woman, very attractive woman, but with severe depression and mental problems. And I asked her, I said, "Diana, you want to, something wrong? We can help you?" And she's lost. There is no place for her to go, no place for her to sleep. How can a country allow that? I'm sorry. I vary between anger and tears. And I could cry endlessly sometimes, and other times I have to buck up and just whatever. So I get mad at the system that doesn't seem to care.
Your helper?
What do you do with Diana? You know, she smokes her marijuana to try to get over it. And it's not people's fault. They say, oh, they're drug addicts, they love their drugs. Yeah, they love their drugs. What are they supposed to love? I tell people, you try to put your head on the ground at night to sleep, you have the spiders over you, biting you. In the summer, snakes. How can people sleep at night? The ones that make the decisions. How can the county board of supervisors or people on city council in Palm Springs just let it go?
Homelessness is a terrible problem, and it's hard to understand how we got to this point. So I asked Arlene for her opinion. How did we get here?
I blame our government for the fact that we don't have the kinds of places that are needed for the people that need mental health work. When my first cousin came out of the war, World War II, he was shell-shocked. They didn't call it PTSD. He was shell-shocked. They had a place for him at the Presidio in San Francisco. We used to go and visit him. He no longer spoke. We'd go on walks and he'd just turn around and walk back at the time. But it was such a great place. It was a wonderful, it was a wonderful campus, and they took care of the veterans, okay? Then in the 80s, was that it, when Reagan was governor? He shut them all down. And that was the beginning of the end of mental health for anybody. And there's been a downward spiral.
Apparently California in particular has a growing problem with homelessness that dates back and stems from a decision made back when Reagan was governor, where he ended the state programs designed to help those who were mentally ill. The deinstitutionalization of the mentally ill ended up creating a situation where these people had nowhere to go other than the streets. And later, the problem was further exacerbated under Governor Brown, where he introduced legislation that dramatically reduced the number of people in prison, and decreasing that prison population also dumped more people with no place to go on the streets. And the combination of those two, combined with a whole lot of economic hardship, has really created a serious homeless problem here.
You can take it and follow the thread and see the trend of how that was not something that was a priority. So we started seeing those with mental health conditions building up, and there was no place for them to go. And today we have
Jerry, you think
very
you should give him a hand?
few places for them to go. They're building, they're finishing one that used to be Roy's, and that will be for 100 and some odd people. But we won't be able to refer them, only a doctor or a hospital. How does that work?
A big theme for Arlene centers around the government engaging people like her, people who spend every day in the trenches working with those experiencing homelessness and including them in building practical, effective solutions.
They don't talk to those people with great experience to get ideas. And I think that basically, if you really want to house people, then your money, and the city council was given $10 million. You know, give organizations like the Well in the Desert $1 million. We won't have people sleeping on the streets. We might just put them up in motels like they were doing with Operation Turnkey, but they won't have to fight the elements. They get sick. But, you know, nobody's doing anything. They're just sitting there saying, yeah, we need to take care of this. Where are the ideas? So you don't stick to one. You talk to people and you get the people that know what they're doing and you get them doing something. I mean, our hands are tied. The city doesn't deal with us at all.
Clearly, Arlene is frustrated by city councils and governments that act without consulting local organizations like Well in the Desert who have this expertise. At the same time, if she had control, if she had money, she knows exactly what she'd do.
Go out there and convince landlords of apartments and houses to let us rent units that we can put people in, hire people like social workers or people that aren't drugged out and alcoholed out to check the people's status weekly so we are not destroying. Because we put people in an apartment once, and one of them was a lawyer who lost her ability to be a lawyer. She ruined it. So you do face that possibility. So you have to have an infrastructure that makes sure that doesn't happen. And so put the people into living. Then you hire a slew of people that will go and talk to people, and you try to then help them with the issues that they have that would hold them down from moving on. Because permanent housing is not going to happen. It takes 2, 3, 4 years, 5. So what are we waiting for? We want to get these people that are sitting out here, we want to get them so that when they leave here in the afternoon at 3:30, 4 o'clock, they're not going to some park or find a portal, a door to sleep by, defecating on the streets because there are no bathrooms to go in. You know, I mean, it's not hard, but it's a lot of work.
I asked Arlene what message she wanted you to receive, people that are watching this. What does she want them to know?
They can have a positive attitude about what we do for people. They can have a positive attitude about our people. They can come visit us, you know, with masks on and distancing, and they can see for themselves. They can, if they want to adopt a client, we can provide that, and they can help that person, maybe meet with that person once a week, every 2 weeks, see how the person is coming. They can get people to donate clothes, toiletries, food. They can write checks. Well, we've got tons and tons and tons of volunteers. But, you know, write a check. Where'd you go to dinner the other night, Maud? Oh, we went up to the top of the hill. Yeah, what'd it cost you? Oh, my husband spent $200 on dinner. Write a check to those that don't get to go up to that restaurant. I'm not saying don't live your life. There was a time I couldn't even go into a restaurant in the 70s because other people were suffering and I wasn't. And I had to get over that. You can't expect that of yourself. But if everybody had just a little extra compassion, it would help go a long way. And people know what to do.
With all the difficult situations, with all the hardships she sees, I asked Arlene, how does she find hope?
What gave Jews their hope after the Holocaust? It's part of my nature. I very seldom will lose hope. I think people have the ability to be really good and achieve a lot. And I just see that here, we help them do that.
So Arlene sees the positive impact of Well in the Desert, and she shows no signs of slowing down. Her final request?
I would give advice to people to say, please don't judge, because what you see on the surface is probably not what is the whole truth. And if you judge, then someone's going to judge you. So that old adage, judge not lest ye be judged, I would recommend that to people, and to try to understand and accept people where they're at, even if it's at their worst or it's at their best. Because a lot of people judge people by what they look like. So you just can't begin to even understand people's lives. And I'm not saying go onto the streets and find a homeless person and sit down and talk to that person, but it's good to get to know why people are homeless, many through no fault of their own.
So that's my next step. I'm going to sponsor and follow a few folks at Well in the Desert who are living on the margin and who are trying to make it. So much to learn, so many opportunities to help. Please stay tuned, subscribe, and share this with others. The greater our audience, the more people we have viewing these videos, the greater our potential impact. Thanks so much for watching.